legacy this week, and I have zero expectations.
It's getting ripped.
It's for children, guys. It's not for you. If you're 30 plus years old, like myself, watching Space Jam: A New Legacy and expecting it to be like some critically acclaimed movie, I don't know what to tell you. Grow up. Like, it's not for you. It's for kids. Like, kids are supposed to watch it and enjoy it. It's not made for you.
Well, that's a good point. Where Colin was right, where Colin was wrong. Brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs, grilled portobello mushroom and Swiss. Fresh ingredients make it. Jersey Mike's, be a sub above. Here we go.
Where Colin was right.
Well, we said all season long that Drew Holiday was one of the great acquisitions by any NBA team. Smart veteran, could give you points, plays defense, and boy, has he been a pickup. Last 2 games, he's had the key defensive play, the alley-oop to Giannis. Remember the game previously, Chris Paul hits the floor, he picks it up. Game 5, he had 13 assists, great defense, over 20 points, and he has worn down Chris Paul. He's been a great pickup for Milwaukee and a huge difference maker in this series.
Where Colin was wrong.
Well, I had Chris Paul before the series, I ranked the top 10 players in this series. I had Chris Paul number 1, and his productivity has dropped off a cliff, mostly because a bigger, stronger Drew Holiday has worn him down. He has also been at times disengaged early in games, as if he's saving it for the fourth quarter. But make no doubt about it, Giannis would be the MVP today, and you could make an argument Chris Middleton or Booker would be number 2.
Where Colin was right.
Well, we started preaching it last week. The Bucks' physicality, even though the series was tied, we said Milwaukee's bigger, and it's starting to wear down Phoenix. They look tired and fatigued. And we also said that age becomes a bigger factor in a series the longer it goes, because the series gets more situational. There's more pressure, and generally younger NBA players shrink when they get tight, and older veterans don't. So we pointed out last week the physicality is starting to become the factor in the series.
Where Colin was wrong.
But I said a month ago the Western Conference Finals were the finals. Remember that? I said Suns-Clippers is the finals. Well, boy, was I wrong, because I think Milwaukee would beat both. This is not the NCAA. If it was, Phoenix would be champs. It's not 1 game. It's not 2. The reality with the NBA, refs, once you get to the conference finals and finals, let the fellas play. That's why the advantage is generally to older, more physical teams once you get to the conference finals, and that's what we have here.
Where Colin was right.
Well, when LeBron came to Los Angeles, of the 4 teams that he narrowed it down to, the Lakers were the least talented team. And I said, LeBron, Mr. Basketball-centric guy, has become a mogul. Basketball's 50%, business is the other 50%, and I get it. He had the money, he had the respect, and he had the rings. Space Jam, you saw him on the sidelines at Phoenix with his own brand of tequila under his leg. I do not begrudge LeBron at all. The bottom line is most of these great players, like Magic, like Michael especially, are underpaid for about 75% of their careers, right? Because they're better than anybody thinks they could possibly be in their mid to late 20s. Magic and MJ were. And then at the end, they're making business deals. And that's what LeBron's done. And he has a title. I don't think he's going to get a second. By the way, Don Cheadle is supposed to be great in that movie. Who do I say is the best actor in America, Joy?
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle. And if I met him, I would say, hi, Don Cheadle.
Where Colin was wrong.
Last week, 50-plus executives, coaches, and players voted on top 10 quarterbacks. I'll be damned, Dak is 7. I've never thought of Dak as a top 10 guy. I've always put him in kind of the 12, 13. He's better than Kirk Cousins. Not sure he's as good as Derek Carr. Kind of that 12, 13 space. He doesn't have a great arm. It's okay. He's athletic, but he's not like Kyler Murray athletic or, Russell Wilson athletic. But you know what? I got to say it. Bottom line is the reason I have the Cowboys going to the playoffs this year is Dak. It ain't the defense. It's not the head coach. It's not that old offensive line. There's something to be said about being a quarterback is more than arm. It's about intangibles, intelligence, leadership, toughness, guile, and Dak got that stuff coming out his ears.
Where Colin was right.
I predicted that Damian Lillard, when the trade rumors came out last week, Damian Lillard would say it's not true, but he would keep the door open. Damian Lillard said it's not true, but he kept the door open. He said, essentially, he put the Blazers on the clock. This was to put pressure on the Blazers to make a move. Now, I do not know what move that would be. I think they could go to Philadelphia, get Ben Simmons. They'd have to give up C.J. McCullough and something else probably. But Dame did what we expected, which is he didn't want to take the glare away from the Olympics. He's not a selfish guy. He's got good self-awareness here. He's not going to take, as they say, the shade away from the Olympics. But he made it very clear, we got to get better. I don't have an interest being a one-and-done guy in the NBA playoffs.
Where Colin was right.
Ben Simmons officially is on the trade block. Daryl Morey, the GM, said a couple of weeks ago, and I gave myself a wrong. The sky's the future. And I'm like, all right, I don't buy it for a second. Well, Shams Charania last week broke the story, somebody we trust implicitly, that yes, Philadelphia is engaging teams in Ben Simmons, which they should, by the way. Embiid and Ben Simmons don't work, and they don't like each other. And Ben Simmons does have value. I think on Golden State, he could be a really interesting piece. But we never bought into the, Daryl Morey, he's part of our future. He shouldn't be part of your future. It doesn't work. It doesn't fit. He can't be on a team with a dominant big that sits in the lane. He needs it open because that's where he scores. Colin right, Colin wrong on a Monday. I want to talk about the Michael Jordan thing. So LeBron James has gone out and made. I don't think the world was clamoring for Space Jam 2. The first one made about 40, 50 million, and that was Michael. But it does show something. I've been very pro LeBron. I know his friends. I'm a huge fan of Rich Paul and Mav Carter. I know those guys. I like him. I like the branding. I like his story. I like everything about him. But it's pretty remarkable that Michael Jordan has not played basketball in 18 years and has been out of his prime, the zenith of it, for 25. His shoes still outsell LeBron. His movie's better than LeBron. And his documentary essentially was the talk of America in sports. Think about his documentary. His documentary, so this is old video we've already seen, averaged 5.6 million viewers per episode. That's more people that watch the Suns-Lakers average game. 25-year-old footage on Michael Jordan. On Netflix ran The Last Dance. It got 25 million viewers. That is 3 times what the NBA Finals today are averaging. I always said this about Michael Jordan. He was the trifecta. He was the best player. He was kind of the best looking player. And he was the most glamorous. Only Muhammad Ali has had that. I mean, when Muhammad Ali was coming up, he looked like a model. He fought like a superstar. And he was funny. It's like, time out. He did poems and stuff. He was doing lyrical stuff and poems and stuff. You're like, time out. That's what like people that have a microphone on stage do. You can't do that. Oh, no, he was doing it constantly. Michael, there's nothing like Michael except Ali. And there's nothing like Ali except Michael. Now, the difference is one was very political and one was sort of anti-political. Michael wanted to stay out of that stuff, right? Like Republicans buy sneakers too, I think was what he said. But there was also something about Michael that I very few athletes have had. Every athlete wants to be cool. Joe Namath was cool. Michael Jordan was cool. Derek Jeter was cool. A lot of guys want to be cool. I think LeBron would kind of like to be, because I think all athletes kind of want to be cool. But Michael had something that I don't think LeBron's ever had, and that there was a coolness without trying